that. Oh. So, we have one more comedian for you. And surprise, it's me! I'm not as creative as Corey, and I flip my own pages. But, typically whenever people lose their parents, like Batman or Superman, like his real parents, they become superheroes. Me, I just lost my dad, so I do stand-up comedy. You can see where that's gotten me. Growing up was without a dad was weird. My older sister always would tell me, she's like, hey, the more, the candy Smarties, right? Yeah? Yeah. We all enjoyed them. My older sister always told me, hey, the more Smarties you eat, the smarter you'll get. That makes perfect sense. So she now has her PhD, and I have type 2 diabetes. I think a lot of things are a lot better on the inside than the outside, like pies, Scotch tape, hats. Just a few inside jokes for you guys. The part of the flute that I hate the most? The player. Anybody here? I mean, probably somebody that left because they're jerks. Anybody here play the flute? Yeah? Yeah, you play the flute? Yeah, you can leave too. Yeah, don't talk to me ever. Fun fact, I'm illiterate. You want to know the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard? That, and I trust my government entirely. Also, the fact that from 1954 to 1961, the polio vaccine was known to contain the simian virus, or known as SV40, and was administered to upwards of 98 million Americans. And this was known fact by the CDC and was reported as such. And yet, even after the introduction of the oral vaccine, like the orally taken version of the vaccine for polio, that didn't have SV40 in it, doctors still administered this vaccine until 1963. And nobody did anything about it. That's pretty ridiculous. You didn't hear it from me? So I've heard a lot of pickup lines. That's a lie. I've heard a few, and they were pretty good. I think my favorite pickup line I've ever received was from a girl, I think. And she called, she's like, hey boy, you look like my GPA. I know I could do better, but I'd be fine if you stuck around. So I turned and looked at it. I was like, that's what gets you? So I turned and looked at it and I'm like, well, if you look anything like my grades, you've probably had D's in everything since 9th grade. So people say a lot of weird stuff to me, just kind of like out of the blue. So I served my mission in Taiwan, and I was riding my bike down the street, saw this lady with a broom, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to this random lady. And I'm just like, hey. And she's like, how's it going, American dude? It was in Chinese, but you get the point. And she proceeds to tell me that for the last 6 years of her life, she's been haunted by a ghost that chokes her in her sleep every single night. And I'm like, nice to meet you too. So she continues to tell me about this, so I'm just like, so what'd you do about it? She's like, well, I started sleeping with a knife under my pillow. And I'm like, what are you going to do? I'm to myself, I'm like, what are you going to do to a ghost with a knife? And all I could ask is like, well, did it work? And she's like, yeah! He doesn't choke me anymore. He just stands in my doorway and watches me. Now I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, if this ghost has got some free time, I wonder if he'll come over and get a little haunted over here. Yeah, this is that kind of show. Woo-hoo! You guys made it to the end! Women's deodorant is always weird. Well, it's weird in that, like, they always come in scents like lavender and honeysuckle and, like, cocoa shea butter, whatever that is. But, like, guys' deodorant doesn't. Like, guys' deodorant comes in, like, the darkest night, the XRF Honda 450, exhaust fumes, and werewolf nutsack. Like, I just want to smell like a flower. Come on. Make it easy. I love the little things in life. I'm gonna check my notes a little on this one because I can't read. I missed a joke. You know what my grandpa used to say? Yeah, me neither. He died before I was born. Well, that and he only spoke in Morse code. Wow, yeah, that's a joke from me. I love the little things in life, like the odd satisfaction of kicking ice cubes under the fridge, never to be seen again. The feeling of laying in a freshly dried batch of laundry. The assortment of dinosaurs and cat figurines I keep on the dashboard of my car. Or when my toast lands butter side up, even after a 2.5-hour debate with my physics professor, who's told me that the event or likelihood of it landing upright would be statistically improbable. Or when you squeeze out a little bit too much of hand sanitizer, it's COVID season, and somebody else takes it off your hands, literally. Or when the guy or gal in the stall next to you toots. And you both giggle a little. That spoon that you gotta wash so you can eat your soup alone at 3 a.m. doesn't splash you when you wash it. Or when you bump into something and say, ouch, and realize you're not hurt. Said it for no reason. Or when that cute girl from your economics class offers to pop your back for you, and she does, and it makes a pretty loud pop, causing you to slip a disc out of place, pinching your spinal cord in 2 places, causing you to be paralyzed from the waist down. While urinating yourself, she drops you, and you go into shock and start seizing on the floor, only for your economics professor to walk in and start yelling at you, because this is no way to behave in an economics class on the first day, and you get out of class early. I don't know, just the little things. When I was a kid, I was like 9 years old. So I got a pretty good question here. I should stop now. It peaked. Oh man. So I got a question. If somebody is a furry and they identify as a dog, and I hit them with my car, is it vehicular manslaughter or just roadkill? And being from Tennessee, my only next logical question is, can I eat it? Things I think about in the shower. So we're going to get a little serious here for a hot second. So recently at work, I had to file for sexual harassment. I'm pretty open about what happened to me because, I feel like a lot of people can learn. Yes, it happens to guys too. So the last couple weeks, I've been going to work, and both guys and girls have been, just pestering me over and over again, always asking what time I get off. Like, why do they want to know? Personal, right? This actually happened this morning. Whenever I tell people I have never cussed and don't cuss, it doesn't matter like how long I've known this person. It doesn't matter like anything. They immediately turn into a 20 questions machine. They're just like, what? You've never been that mad that you've cussed? What? You've never broken a bone? What? Your parents didn't beat you as a child? I'm like, yeah, but that's besides the point. So, you know, any time I always tell them, just like, yeah, I've never cussed before. And they're just like, what? No way. You're totally lying. I'm like, it's true. No, shut the fuck up. But the opposite is always true as well. I was actually supposed to say the F word in that joke, but surprise. The opposite is always true. Whenever I ask someone, it's like, so do you like cuss or whatever? And they're just like, well, you know, like, no, do you? And I'm just like, well, we're not talking about me, all right? You're gonna tell me if you cuss or not. Apparently it's really invasive. And they always, you know, just like, no, well, you know, I've never cussed in anger, and that's just like saying I've never murdered for love, but I'm on my second wife. I forgot I put this one in here. What flavor is birthday cake? What flavor? It's birthday cake. There's a flavored birthday cake, yeah? What does it taste like? Because like, if I ask Bill's right here, if I ask him, hey, what flavor birthday cake do you want? He could say something like chocolate, or something stupid like carrot. And it doesn't even taste like carrot, but he can say it. And we know what he means. But if he says birthday cake, come on! It's not really a joke, I'm just mad about it. Something else I like to think about is how perfume shops and vape dispensaries are both equal and opposite energies. They are both the airport jungle juice of smells. Like, it's just a lot to think about. I love the phrase, you are what you eat. I'm loving it less and less, though, because as for the inordinate amount of Happy Meals I've consumed today, I honestly thought I'd be a little more happy. I also don't get bath salts. Similar to the deodorant thing, but like bath salts are so expensive, you know? It's like $5 for like a little tiny bag. You get like maybe one scoop out of it, and you're like, well, how am I going to fill my whole bathtub? Like, it's too expensive. I can't do that. So I just end up snorting them and eating people's faces. And talk about relaxing, am I right? That's what I'm after. Telling people you've lost weight is weird. Wow, that got really quiet. I'm really intently listening. I'm grateful for that. But like, say, you know, I just come up to you and it's like, yeah, man, you know, it comes up in conversations like, yeah, I lost 14 pounds recently. Everybody's like, wow, like, you've been smelling bath salts again? You've been working out, going on some diet. I'm just like, yeah, I've swapped all my meat for roadkill. But, you know, they always just ask, you know, simple stuff like that. But if you tell somebody, you're like, hey, man, I lost 386 pounds, they're devastated. And they're like, holy crap, it's a freaking miracle. And I get offended by that. Because they're happy that there's less of me. This joke actually has a couple different endings. I'm going to tell them all. So when I tell somebody that I've lost 386 pounds, they get all excited and they're like, wow, it's a miracle, you're so healthy now. And little do they know I'm just a terrible stockbroker in England. When I tell somebody I've lost 386 pounds, they're always so excited for me. They're like, wow, that's a miracle, I'm so happy for you. And little do they know I just left my friend Todd in the woods. Anyways, that's all the jokes I've got for you tonight. Thanks, everybody.